Double check the transitions. That's because I'm always one of those people that likes to double check stuff. Hopefully y'all... good. How are you all this afternoon, morning, evening, whatever y'all are? I'm Mageius1 and this is Tenchi Muyo Game Hang. Now before I get started, I've got a few small things to show y'all. And that's namely because this version here, which is the latest English patch, has a certain bug that, well, let's just say it helped push the speedrun quickly and efficiently as to why we should develop things tech-wise. Mind you, the old English version from the early 2000s actually still works. You know, it is allowed in the speedrun. This version matters a lot for just understanding some of the main aspects of the speedrun. And shoutouts to the person that actually wrote an entire games mechanic guide on game facts, because the run would not be the way it is without that. Anyway, just quickly show something. As enemies spawn every 10 actions, if there's more than 4. Well, except for the bug thing here, where that is not supposed to happen. Which, if you can believe it, that actually affects the speedrun a lot, to the point that we had to ban this version. But it's also, well, this particular patch, but the fact of that existing, not realizing it for a little bit, it meant the run had to actually adapt to that and learn to try to go as fast as possible. So that pushed forward a lot of tech easier. Anyway, I'll be using the Japanese version today. That's mainly because there's a lot of little hidden tech that's been found recently, since I was working on trying to make a guide. And, well, I'll have to briefly give some info in about 3, 2, 1. That's namely because the way the game's RNG works is based on from power on. Now, that doesn't affect some things, but it affects our stats as far as what we get when rolling them. And by that I mean our strength and defense is actually not fixed. Thinking about it, I should have showed y'all the actual stat menu just to show that yes, this is a strategy RPG, but hey. Live and learn, and then hang on the edge of tomorrow. But for those of you that remember Tenchi Muyo, anime from the 90s, it's had multiple different variations, timelines, had lots of spin-offs, still relevant even to, I think, last 3 years they had another continuation of the OVAs, which is sort of the main timeline. But for starters, we're going to be picking Ayeka, Ryoko, and then Tenchi. This is to actually do some very interesting things within the speedrun. And thanks to all the good lucks. Well, to start off with, the reason why we pick Ayeka here is we want to weaken this first enemy. That is because of the fact that at most there will be 4 enemies on screen. There is a total of up to 8 enemies that will spawn, as I said, 10 turns after each enemy is killed, after it gets down to 3 enemies. So as you can see, Tenchi's turn here is the first of the turns counting towards the next enemy. We try to do this to manipulate the fact of being able to take our turns and the opponent's turns to count for things as early as possible. And right now, though you can't see it, you're also doing one of the other pieces of tech. Holding the X button during every enemy and character movement. That is because that skips movement animation. It's one of the very few things we can do. Now, the enemy that is hitting Tenchi right here is also blocking a spawn tile for the next enemy. Excuse me. So we will be getting rid of them just before, just during Tenchi's next turn. We also have to be aware of the animations as far as our attack animations. Now, it does not have equipment. The enemies can only attack. You'd figure for something this basic that it wouldn't be as detailed a speedrun as it is. By the way, that is 2 kills from Ryoko and giving her level 2. EXP-wise, there is no EXP in this game. However, well, let me rephrase that. It's not that there is not EXP, it's that levels are gained via kills. No matter who the enemy is, either strong or not strong. So we tend to try to take advantage of that. The amount of kills needed for each level are 2 for level 2, 6 total for level 3, 10 for level 4, 16 for level 5, 22 for 6, 30 for 7, and 38 for level 8, which ironically is the highest level in the game. We're going to wait here on that one. This is to push forward the spawn count a bit, and also hopefully have Aika actually get killed here to help decrease the turn count. Yay, we got the coin flip. Ryoko's going to wait here. This is so Tenchi can go down here. Immediately do that there, and attack the last enemy here. This is so that we can have both Tenchi and Ryoko leave with 4 kills and 2 kills respectively, putting them both at level 2 and Tenchi 2 kills away from getting to level 3. Now, each level we do end up learning a new move. I have yet to show Ryoko's off, but you'll see that pretty soon. We're going to have Ryoko wait, and Ryoko to move there, and Tenchi will be able to show our first major bread and butter move of the run, his spin cut. I tend to actually reference, because of having to go through the latest English patch, the sort of names used from that to help with remembering things. I am still actually working on a guide for this for beginners. It's coming along. It's to say, I'm going to add a lot. It's been mainly because of lots of screenshots and a lot of sort of move here, move there, edits on the actual ones to make it a lot easier for players to, see where they need to go. So we're going to keep mashing, mashing, and mashing. This game, you don't really have a way to speed up text at present other than pure mashing. However, positive note, it accepts all the SNES controllers buttons. So that means L and R, start, select, and even a D-pad can help. I tend to actually switch between both mashing, face buttons, and the D-pad in a D-pad direction to help with speeding up text. So you can try to get first frames on that one. However, you can't really skip some of the text, if there's movement with the characters sometimes. They do credit the voice cast during the credits, so I assume at some point this probably did have voice acting or something planned for it. Anyway, we want Tenchi, Mahoshi, Ayaka, and then Tenchi. Well, Ryoko and Mahoshi... trying to explain everything on that one. If you've seen the anime, you know the girls, you know the characters, but Ryoko here is, Tenchi, when Tenchi finds her, thinks she's a demon, but she's not. Also, meet the plasma beam. Yeah, it may not be Metroid, but we still have one. And we will use that because of the whole fact of how it can kill these greenish, grayish, whatever you want to call enemy color. Anyway, you figured, Mage, why are you using 4 characters here? Well, Misaki, the girl down here, or I'm not even going to it's hard to tell what the current actual proper translation is on that one, and it's been a while since I've done the exact English, you know, the latest English thing on it. Ooh, we got a good roll. And by that I mean the enemies rolled very low on their starting speed. When everybody loads up for the enemies, they get a 0 to 7, you know, spot on the weight counter. Weight being how long it takes for some to move and for some not to move. Every character for a weight value is fixed, so that's why we try to manipulate turn order for both our heroes and enemies. Now, enemies prioritize the people that were picked first, you know, earlier in the actual, you know, character choice order. Picking Tenchi, okay. This is one of the rare battles where we have some manipulation, but the turn order changes a lot based on how things will be. We're going to have Ryoko move... You know what? I've got backups if needed. Remember, mates, it's the second option. Been swapping back and forth between testing a few other things recently. Remember, said guide. But we want to be able to actually get rid of all the enemies here, because since we can't skip their animations, we want to try to minimize that as much as possible, as well as minimize camera movement. Tenchi there. I'll have him move up here to get him out of the line of fire. Okay, don't need to worry about Ryoko. Also, kill count 3, one more for her, and she should have her level. That is one thing that is very important in the speedrun, is to actually track your kill count. And yeah, considering Ryoko's got a chance here, I'll do that and back up, because Ryoko actually having the distance should be able to help end the fight easier. So Mitsuki, in this battle, you just have to attack her once, because it's that ha 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 ha, you can't beat me type battle, and the game wants you to know that. So we're just going to wait turns. Gonna have Tenchi move forward a little bit. Sacrifice a little bit on the camera movement. Okay, Mitsuki. Since Ryoko just leveled, we don't have to worry about her dying just yet. I'll move her down a tile just in case, because I have not been tracking turn count. Been more concerned about tracking the kill count right now because of the patterns of that one. Tenchi move down here. I believe the enemy moves. Yep, there we go. There's the last enemy we need for Tenchi. As I said, we need to get 6 kills on each character before the end of the second battle. We're gonna wait. Mahoshi will go next. That is because her and Tenchi actually speed tie. So essentially, well, wait turn tie. So essentially, as long as, and the way the game breaks a tie is based off of order on that one there. Yeah, not that good on time, but Tenchi hits level 6 here. Now you may notice that text afterwards. That's telling me that Tenchi can now transform. Also, whenever you level up, you get a full heal, which is very nice. Mitsuki... Ew. That was a pain there, but we take what we can get. Anyway, we'll end the battle right here for that one there. And I'm going to grab a drink while the screen changes. And keep mashing. Because, of course, gotta keep going fast. I should have dropped a scene about getting them to let me drop a link to the mechanics guide, because this game takes a lot of knowledge. And now Mitsuki is running away with Sasami, Ayaka's sister, the blue-haired girl. That's Sasami. Ayaka is the one with purple hair. Ryoko is, of course, the one with the grayish hair, and Mahoshi is the blonde. Lore-wise, Ayaka, lore-wise, Mahoshi is actually a Galaxy police officer who, I won't say crash-landed here, but it is what it is. Also say hi to Tenchi's grandfather. essentially, this whole area is part of the Musashi residence. Tenchi's last name being Musashi, not Muyo for some reason. Anyway, we're going to be doing this battle 2 times. Although, sadly, not in the same order. Now, remember that example I gave about how certain enemies with spawning went? Well, this should show you what I mean. Also, with Tenchi here, you know, we're going to spin cut here. This is because he, at this point, can guarantee this, and we are now set up so that during Ryoko's next turn, 7 turns, I use air quotes there, have passed. I guess you could call it turns on that one. Essentially, so that way Ryoko's turn will be turn 8, Tenchi's will be turn 9, and then after the next enemy that acts, the next enemy will spawn. The reason why we want to get rid of 2 enemies here is so that way when the next one spawns, it does not set it up to immediately be 4 enemies on screen, so that way we can't, you know, continue the count, as the count does not progress if there's more than 4 enemies. And of course we're going to do this here. This battle we're trying to actually get 4 kills each on the characters to be able to actually get them to level 4. Because level 4 has some amazing abilities that we get for all the characters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tenchi's turn. 5. We're going to use the spin cut here to kill these blue enemies. This will give Tenchi his 3rd of the 4 kills. Ryoko is now going to move over here. This is so that way the next enemy that spawns will ignore Tenchi and immediately go for Ryoko. This game has a weird mechanic where if you're over a hole, or water or things like that, it actually changes whether or not an attack can hit based on what it considers to be a melee attack or a ranged attack. Ironically, ranged attacks cannot, you know, go over water. You'd think they would be able to, but melee sort of can to some degree. If you notice the little image on the attack menu next to each of the attacks, that shows its type of attack, who it would hit, and then how much energy it costs. Energy has been that little yellowish dots that you've seen in the box with the health. Also, if you guys want to count along with me as far as keeping track of kills, feel free. I'll ask y'all in there, when do you think we'll get to 29 and 37 respectively? Let's see y'all try to keep tracking. The current count is 10. So, feel free. How many battles do you think it'll be? And we now just recruited Tenchi's grandfather to let him know, hey, Sasami's been kidnapped, we need to actually go rescue her. Lore implies he is actually related to Ayeka. Now, it may not look like it, but intergalactic aging, yada yada yada, something like that. I believe it's like 600 or 700 years old plus, and I think Ayeka is like 300 or 400. I could be, you know, misremembering on that one, but it is up there. Sasami, although looking young, is I think over 300. Yeah, Tenchi is technically the youngest out of all of them. Oh no, I think Ryo-ohki is technically younger, but that's a little harder to explain. Anyway, we go here to the woods because we need a step-off battle. Because the Hot Springs is one of the best battles for grinding kills. We want to leave this tiny grind early on at a levels 5 and 6 respectively. We're going to have Ryoko wait here. Now, if you notice, the latest thing we just got with Tenchi is a sword toss, which is very, very, very useful. The other ability we got with Ryoko is called Light Slay. It essentially is a very strong close range attack on that one, which lets us one-shot these enemies. So we're just going to wait around, have Tenchi gain stuff on that one, and have certain enemies spawn. we're going to manipulate it so that we get to get as many turns as possible with them on screen without taking a hit because of the cost animation time, and without having them move as much as possible. So we're going to do that there. Ryoko is going to wait once more. Tenchi's going to wait once more. The next enemy is going to spawn. Now we're going to kill the blue enemy once those two enemies are close to each other. We're going to wait here. Tenchi is going to now have 4 energy and max range the sword throw. Well, kendo stick throw, or it's a wooden sword. I guess you could actually call it a pointy stick. Anyway, Ryoko is going to move here and light slay this enemy here. This is so that when the next enemy moves down, there will be another enemy that spawns. And then Ryoko should have her turn after the next enemy moves, and to be able to take out the new enemy that just spawned. And Tenchi will be able to sword throw the last enemy. Gonna move here, do this. And Ryoku's gonna end up killing them. Now, one of the biggest things about this run is keeping track of the average amount of damage and the average rolls, as we can, based off of where we move and some of our actions, actually manipulate what an enemy will do. And because of that, and as I explained earlier, because of how originally having to deal with enemies spawn multiple times, we had to find ways of just cutting down on enemy spawns and how to just really abuse the turn order. I guess I haven't explained buffs yet, but they do have some buffs we hit later on as far as what we can do. Anyway, in this particular version of the Hot Spring Battle, we're going to have Ryoko get 6 kills. However, now that we have the ability to use Light Slay and Sword Toss, respectively, that means we have the ability to save some time on animation. Yeah, 21, I forget the actual roll, if not, that's good. Strength-wise, I'll know in about maybe 45, 50 minutes on that one as to whether or not I've high rolled or not. That's because, honestly, I am not the person that's just like, I want to memorize everything, damage count, and just do every little thing you can, imagine to, like, track everything. I'm more of the, like, I'm not going to remember this. So I'm just going to take a, on average guess on some things. This time we're going to have Tenchi wait, instead of doing a spin attack, he can immediately just throw his stick at them, because apparently that counts as a melee attack, so it can actually go over water or holes. And this will give Tenchi level 5. The move that he would learn for level 5 is part of his transformation ability, which is what we gained access to at level 3. We're just going to wait. We're going to wait till the next enemy spawns before killing the next enemy. 1, 2, 3. Ryoko's going to kill that one there. 4, 5, 6, 7. Tenchi's going to move slightly over here. He's not going to attack, but... Oh, really, game? Really? You're gonna do that? Yeah. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to end that early, but... it happens every now and then. You take a shot on something that should be safe, and the game says no. Not that much of a time loss, though. But now Ryoko will hit level 6. Sorry, level 5. Math's hard on Twitch. Tenchi's going to pass here. Ryoko's going to pass here. Because I had to kill the one enemy early, I lose like 1 to 2 turns on that one. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ryoko's turn 8. She's going to kill this enemy here. The blue thing will be turn 9, I believe. Then Tenchi will be turn 10. Oh, nope. Makes me seem like a liar on that one, but again, tracking turns is a pain. I tend to have a more general vibe of what it is versus the true loot count. Tenchi will wait here. Ryoko is at 24, so I will have to use Light Slay. I'm not going to take the gamble on the normal attack of the her light sword, aka the first attack, which has a slight fast animation of that to kill the blue enemy. As at 24 strength, it would be a crit or a very high roll of the damage range. However, for Light Slay, it's a guarantee, although you lose a tiny bit of time due to the animation. But with if it had been 25, it would be a coin flip on that one, usually going in the player's favor. And 26 or higher, you can safely use the light sword, aka, you know, her normal attack, or God, I forget the. Just think of it like her using a lightsaber she manifested out of a jewel to be able to save time on animation frames. Still wouldn't be able to use that on the brownish enemies here, but it is what it is. And, well, Ryoko will get level 6 here. And level 6 has, well, it's a magical number in this game. 22 kills has something magical in this game. Ryoko is going to wait. We're going to do the same thing that we did last time. However, if we had had 25 strength or higher, we could have saved a tiny bit of time by using a different attack with a actual quite faster animation. But again, we can't control the damage rolls. We can control movement, we can control, we can control movement, we can control, well, not where enemies will attack to some degree. We can, but it's more of a positioning thing. We're going to wait again with Ryoko. Enemy will pass, enemy will pass, Tenchi will wait. Here, enemy will move down, just like last time. As I said, the only thing we now have to worry about is if or if not the last enemy, depending on speed, will get to move first or not. If that happens, then Tenchi will have to take one step down and hurl his stick versus being able to stand still. I said this game had a lot of manipulation to it, but at the same point, it's also a very interesting speedrun because of what that entails. Because you will still have to, oh, I forgot to kill that one. That's why. Yeah, okay, bad mage, bad. Okay, I'm gonna have to improvise here. That's a time loss. I thought I did. Woe is me for losing time. Ryoko. Move here, Light Slay. That's one thing within the speedrun. If you make a dumb mistake, it can cost you time. It can cost you time. Like how I should be on my next battle for now. But it's okay. Move there, Ryoko. You know what? No, I'll gamble on the crit. Come on, give me the crit. Come on, give me the crit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes! Wow. Didn't need the crit on that one. Guess she high rolled enough on that. And got high roll on that one. See, there are just little bits of gambles here and there that you can use to save a lot of time sometimes. Sometimes you get bank on a crit and you'll get it. Sometimes you do that, like that, and you'll get what you need. That is one of the very fun things about this speedrun. There is a lot of time for just like, do I want to take this risk or do I want to just play it safe? Now we're on our way to rescue Sasami. Now, fun fact. if you've seen this speedrun before, you'll notice that I am going the southern route instead of the northern route. Well, turns out it's faster to take... There's been an old argument as to whether or not you should take more battles if you can beat them fast enough to get the full set of 4 enemies versus actually taking 1 or 2 battles and just going with all 4, you know, actually waiting for all the enemy spawns. Well, math works out that if you can do a battle fast enough, then you can actually take the extra battles and save time versus actually waiting. And since, well, we now have level 6, Ryoko can one-shot these birds, and Tenchi can spin attack to kill a bunch of the enemies. It ends up actually working out to be faster to do that than it does to take these shorter battles, the less battles, and grinding along the way. So we essentially trade a standard, you know, a few less battles where we're waiting around, letting enemies spawn, you know, trying to make sure that they don't, you know, spawn and attack us and all that stuff. And just work with the, just a walking grind. Yeah, sadly we don't beat up the carrots anymore. However, that is actually still one of the backups if you die, if you have a character that ends up dying during the second battle, as it ends up saving more time. Along with Mahoshi's spaceship, it's like knowing where you can get your kills fast. So Tenchi is going to move here, spin and kill both birds, weaken the red one. Ryoko is going to move forward, light slay the last red one, and will he get lucky? Will he get lucky? Nah. A crit there basically means we save a actual turn on that one. Light slay, that's will kill. On that one there, but we get the clean, nice shot here. Wait here. Enemy will attack Tenchi, Ryoko will pass her turn, then Tenchi will go for that one. Also 31 strength. That's actually decent. Hold on, let me knock on some wood so that way I don't get screwed over. Tenchi is now going to essentially... spin cut. Wasn't tracking health, although it probably was only like 1 HP left, but safe than sorry in a marathon sense. Now, to all you Mahoshi fans out there, get ready. Apart from the only other battle, this is the battle where she is very useful. Also, thank you for the raid. Song. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. Anyway, so, we're going to be using Mahoshi here. We're going to go here, here, then pick up Ryoko. Now, you may ask, Age, why are you doing that? Turns out it is 11 seconds faster from the start of the battle, off the, you know, game basically fading to black, to use Mahoshi here to allow Ryoko to actually move up and start in the second player slot, the second character slot. Sadly, Mahoshi will faint, in a sense, but that's the price of going fast. The reason why this actually saves time is it sets it up, well, for Ryoku's Beam Squall. Remember how I said level 6 was important? We have access to this. Say bye! Bye, enemies! Bye-bye! You can't see me, but I am waving at the screen right now. So, yeah, Beam Squall. It's an attack that lets us attack every enemy that is within the range of it. So, yeah. We'll be using that a lot. Alongside Tenchi's Spin Cut. And, as I said, having Ryoku that there saves us actually having to take a third turn. Even though there is only one enemy left on screen, it saves 11 seconds. And now we're gonna skip. We're gonna keep matching. Also, we've rescued Sasami. Yay! I will admit, this and a few other battles I've actually been working on as a challenge for myself, doing blindfolded. And now I'm going to describe this battle in like maybe about a sentence. So, we're going to have Ryoko go first. I'm going to press A, get to her menu, press down, and wait. Now I'm going to hold the X button and mash A to avoid every enemy's attack. Note, I am not doing this blindfolded, but as I said, it's something I've been working on. This battle, guide-wise, let's just say it is one of the only battles I do not explain with a map or screenshot. Battle done. Although, if we low roll, one of the blue enemies should remain, in which case we just use a single hit with her light sword. I guess, though, it's sort of light, you could insert the random whichever anime character that uses a weapon named that. The only one I can think of is Slayer's right now off the top of my head with Gallery, but I know it's a common triple on that one. Also, Ryoko will hit her 30th kill here. So, I said that 29 and 37 were important. And looks like we get unlucky on that one. Have the enemy just like one last slice of health. That's 7 points. This will definitely finish it off. If we're really lucky, we can just have it clear the enemies on all that one. If not, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny time loss. But we've now rescued Sasami. Ayaka is basically walking up and says, Sasami! Sasami! You're safe! Safe! Sorry, all. If I want to speak loud and do something like that, voice-wise, it's kind of hard. Softly, though. And we're going to wait there. We're going to do block A. Here, now we're headed towards the container up north to recruit our last party member, well, apart from Misaki because of story reasons, for the end game. We now have 3 of the 4 characters in Tenchi, Ryoku, and Sasami. We're going to use Tenchi here. Ryoku. We're going to move here. And now we're into the sort of cruise control map here. After the first grind, we're essentially in that for a few things. And we're going to spin to win. Spin to win. This will take care of both of these robot enemies. Putting Tenchi up to 27. Ryoku is going to wait here. She has exactly 30... Yeah, she's got 34 at present. No, 33 at present. Sorry, it took me a minute. Gonna have her go down. There, there. And this will finish off both of these. Not bad for making a small mistake on the woods back, because it's supposed to get rid of the blue enemy earlier. But it is what it is. Ryoku will finish off both of these. And now sit comfortably at 35 kills. These numbers are deliberate for an upcoming battle where, well, I won't spoil it, but if you know the franchise, we're about to get Ryoku's mother. One of the 3 legendary goddesses, at least in the OVA herself, Washu, our crazy kooky mad scientist. And I mean that in a good way, because I believe that's even described as the descriptor that she uses herself on it. Also, we end up actually having 2 of the 3 goddesses from the OVAs with both Washu and Tsunami. Not to be confused with Tsunami, which the show did air on. But that's also lore-wise, like something to do with Sasami and evolving trees. Sadly, we don't get to see Funahu anymore. Tenchi's grandfather's ship that has taken root because apparently they've got the ability to have biological things actually become spaceships. And we're going to kill both of these robots here. Now, since this is a marathon, I won't be going for a gamble because of the amount of strength I've got. Yep. Oops. That's way too quickly there. Sorry. If we're going to use Light Slay here, this will guarantee to kill these blue enemies. If not, leave it with one. Oop, we got the full kill, which is very good. I will point out that if Ryoko or Tenchi does low roll their damage, it takes a tiny bit of time, but she'll just pick it up with the other character. That one. By the way, Tenchi is now at 29 kills, one off from level 7, and Ryoko is now one off from level 8. That's to set up one of the... Let's just put it this way. The next battle is to the point of I'm taking a save here. This battle can go very wrong very quickly, but at the same point there is also a lot of minute detail to it to make it actually very safe to some degree. If I were to ever try to do a whole blindfolded run of this game, this is the battle that basically... It's the Mike Tyson of the game, as far as a blindfolded challenge goes. Not counting the last few battles, but those are more of a, like, you hope to actually handle that one, and I'd want this battle done before the others if I were to try to figure that one out. We're going to match through text. We're explaining to Washu that someone kidnapped Sasami, we've rescued her. Washu's more like, I recognize this technology, must be, you know, might be someone I know, might not. But for this one, we're going to actually see the first instance of Sasami. Sasami, Tenchi, Ryoko, and then Washu. No, this will also be our final party, but not in that order sometimes. We're going to have Sasami move here, move here. Yeah, I'll do the current strategy I've been working on trying out. There's so many things to this battle that have moving parts on that one, not counting the slight chance of the enemies rolling first. Now, the reason why Tenchi is at level 7 and not 8, sorry, level 6 and not 7, is deliberately for that attack. And for one other optional gamble with a spin attack, if you want a spin attack versus doing a single hit, in which case you do a slightly different variation on that one. But this is also a battle where we will also be abusing the fact we know where the spawns for enemies are that are fixed. And the reason I killed that scorpion there is that one has a very high chance of moving, and it's just safer to get rid of it versus having to avoid the coin flip on it. Now sadly we can't hit the enemy over a hole with Washu's Falcon Punch, but the reason that we used that one move of Sasami's is that is essentially haste. Now, if I haven't mentioned this already, if you're wondering why the enemies take more turns than us, that's due to a developer oversight to some degree. And that is the way the game tracks haste. It tracks it via a flag on that one, which is cleared when you either level up or, you know, the end of each battle. Also, all buffs actually disappear at the end of each, disappear based on whenever you level up. But, it's this one. Fresh actual tech as to double checking other stuff on that one. Other enemy will spawn. We're going to move Ryoko down here. So, with adjusting the camera, other enemy will move up here to be able to fire at Sasami, which is sort of what we want. Sasami has done her part. Now she's become a little bit of a liability. Washu will punch the cannon. We're gonna do that there. Scorpion won't move. Sasami will wait. Tenchi will move over here. Ryoko is going to do something smart. Block the next enemy from spawning. This is so that way we are set up in such a way that we don't have to worry about the last two enemies spawning, as they are two of the scorpions, and they are the farthest away that you could imagine, and they like to move a lot. Sasami's going to wait here again. Tenchi is going to actually go and kill this scorpion now. Now, oddly enough, if Tenchi had gotten a kill earlier, then we would lose a little bit of time, but Washu would either kill the scorpion or do something different in the following battle. Ryoko is going to move here, as if I'm counting turns correctly. Washu's turn is next. Yep. I've actually been trying to practice to make sure I get this exactly on that one, because this is one of the tightest battles as far as turn counts go. It's 1, 2, 3. Washu, it's 4. It's Ryoko. Ooh, got the crit. Oh, beautiful. Chef's kiss on that one. Saves a couple turns on that one there. And now we have Washu. Washu has a very, 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 very useful ability that we want to use every battle sees with us. And that's called Cheer. You'll see it in an upcoming battle, but that is essentially the, for you Final Fantasy fans out there, the Brave ability, or, you know, the typical make you stronger, hit harder ability. Also, recruiting Washu this way has her start at level 4 instead of avoiding getting her and having her start at level 3. Washu's gonna punch here. It's 1, 2, 3. Yep. Sorry, it took me a minute to actually think if I was doing the correct battle or not. I believe I should have used Sasami here because of the 4 kills, but it's easily made up by the fact that we don't have to deal with enemies attacking us. Also, welcome in Raiders. You're getting to see Tenchi Muyo game Hang, a phenomenal little hidden gem of a isometric strategy RPG from the SNES era. Came out in '95. Although it wasn't one of the games that got brought over to the US, it's one of those games that, alongside games like Gundam Wing and This Duel, we all probably remember actually checking out as soon as we heard that there's games based off of anime, and they never came out over here in the States. I know I remember doing that one, alongside a few other games like Sailor Moon Another Story. And a lot of the other ones too, like the G Gundam fighting game, and just the whole puzzle, was it Puzzle Bobble or whatever it was from Sailor Moon, Tenchi, like a lot of the Gundam games. Never really checked out the Ranma half. Then you also have all the DBZ games that I'm pretty sure all of us remember. Shouts out to DBK later on in the marathon, who could probably name all of them, and it is amazing when it comes to showcasing those fighting games. We're going to move Washu here, punch this one. And yes, the game did come out 5 years before the anime got broadcasted over here, but at the same point, that meant that a lot of us, you know, got a chance to actually play it once we were in the... Oh god, did I just see a 26? Oh. Oh yeah. I don't mean that negatively, but 25 is the magic number on the next battle. And if I haven't really been explaining the strength growths, essentially it is an on average, and because we try to win fast, the way the game's actual RNG works for growths from that one, since HP is fixed, alongside agility and a bunch of the other ones. Strength and defense being the only few that actually do roll. Essentially, it is more of a, like, it has streaks, meaning meaning if a lot of people level up close to each other when it's rolling high, you can get a lot of high rolls. When it is lower, you have some of that as well. Now, the reason why I'm happy with a 26 here is these robots here, you can't kill without doing a transformation. So you'll get to see your first transformation with Washu, turning into Nurse Washu. If you're familiar with the anime, it's that one where she, like, actually does some, like, experiments on Tenchi, that whole thing. But, so you can only do that once you hit level 8. Well, not level 8. Have 8 energy. So, the thing is here, at 24 strength, we can't kill them in a single hit with that. It leaves them with, like, 2 HP. You can with a crit, but does anybody want to gamble on 4 crits in a row? I don't want to take that gamble. Task, maybe. Ooh, and also high roll the defense. I need to make sure to remember exactly how the hell I got that. So, exact weight amount in, the VOD, I guess. But also, being transformed, we also get some stronger attacks and a buff on attack and defense. Washu using her first ability... Well, no, I got to skip showing you that one because of that high roll. But her needle attack here also lets her heal. Now, the one benefit of having Washu at level 5 is... Sorry, tongue-tied here. The fact that she starts at level 4 instead of 3 means she has access to her cheer ability, which you'll see in the next battle I use Tenchi. So now we're on our way to confront Mitsuki, and doing this also means that we have everything so that the enemies won't attack us. Well, they will attack us, but only once, so we get to pass all their turns. Ooh, and a nice crit, too. Wow, did they roll that low? Oh, God. Why does a shiver just suddenly run down my spine? This is making me go, oh. This is making me go, oh. Wait, when's the shoe gonna drop? But also, we got Washu just leveled up to level 6, so I know she's at 22 kills. And now we're finally going to confront Mitsuki. For kidnapping Sasami. I'm gonna master all this. Ryoku's like, I want to challenge you one-on-one. Because Ryoku having a bit of a... Not so much temper, but... Yeah, would you say she had a temper? Hard to tell. Also, say I had a Ryo-ohki. That is one of the benefits to go into the carrot fields earlier, is you can pick up Ryo-ohki at level 1 versus the other one. Oh, 43. Okay, this is considered a safe gamble. If we're lucky, her plasma beam will crit here. If it crits, we get to save time. Well, I guess we get to save an extra turn. If that had not crit, Mitsuki would have gotten a turn, gone behind Ryo-ohki, attacked her. On Ryoku's next turn, we would have just used Light Sword to finish them off. And now, I forget what her name is. It starts with a K. Someone can look it up. But the real boss behind it, and the person that created Mitsuki, just like how Washu created Ryoku. Although, does that technically make Ryoko a creature? Alien? I know Ryo-ohki sort of falls into that one. What the current thing is for them, whether it's male, female on that one. I know it's waffled between that one, and I've seen both things on that one, so I'm just going to use the versus being sure on that one. Anyway, Ryoko wants to confront them. Also, this is a rival of Washu's, another scientist. So we're going to match through text. And we're going to do this. And now that we have this going on, we have a boss battle here. Our enemy will not move, but... so we're going to use Tenchi and Washu here. The old strategy was using needle attacks with just Washu, with the ability I get to finally show y'all. Tenchi will move here. Now the enemy range is 4 on that one there as far as just attack range. But welcome to Cheer. Cheer, I think it's either a 1.5 or 2. I believe it's 1.5 boost to strength. So Tenchi went from 36 strength to 55, which is very good. So we're going to buff both him and and Washu. I'm going to play it safe. Oops. Well, luckily it doesn't matter. Luckily, I'll just hopefully get a crit. Sadly, you can't stack more than one buff at a time. You can stack both the speed and the both haste and cheer at the same time, but you can't have it available. You can't have more than one usage of it, meaning they do not stack. Like, I can't just stack a bunch of actual cheers on top of each other with Tenchi to make his attack ungodly strong. Also, in the transformation state, we get to be slightly faster, and for some of the characters, get some extra movement. Anyway, we're going to use Tenchi's drop kick here. Boop. Deal a chunk of damage. Tenchi will get hit soon, but it doesn't really matter since this also gives a buff to his defense to avoid stuff. So, at this point, Tenchi won't. If Tenchi dies, it doesn't really matter as much, as he has got the number of kills we need. Want him at level 7. That's for some of the upcoming things. Washu will be able to move up 1 space and get in range of her level 6 ability, the Washu doll. She sends off a little exploding doll. Although, I wonder, did he steal that from Bowser? Mecha Koopas. Anyway, this will actually give Washu an extra kill, as both this and the last battle count as an actual enemy being killed. It doesn't really matter who gets the kill on that one, although we'd like to see Washu get it versus Tenchi, but at the same point, Tenchi critting and killing is a time save, so it's sort of that, like, we'd like to, but now with Washu at 22 kills and Tenchi at now 31, this is going into one of the reason we actually have to power up Washu and Tenchi for this upcoming section. It is a gauntlet between, it is 6 total battles between with 2 different parties fighting each side of it. And I will be taking a safety save here. Now we're going to keep mashing through there. Sadly, we do not have access to Ryo-ohki or Ryoko since Ryoko has now been kidnapped. It's just one of those typical days with the Sasami residents. We're going to actually use Ryo for the left side. Although if Tenchi had high-rolled everything, he technically could probably do the left side versus the right side, because he can spin to win to kill all these scorpions. We're going to buff Washu here. So that way, hold on a minute. 6 or 7, 8 or 9, 30. Oh, good God. 26 or 7, 8 or 9, 30, 31, 32, 30. Oh, good God. I'm saying that honestly because of the damage, the strength table rolls. Anyway, we're going to move Washu up a space to kill this first enemy here. This is to help with preventing them from attacking us, although it also starts to count. Yep. Although we're headed towards the moon, so gauntlet it may be, but we're now going to move Ryoko over here. Luckily, the game defaults our target to the blue enemy here, and Washu dolls will immediately take it out. Used to be that we could guarantee a fifth enemy to make sure that Washu would have the 23rd. Yes, the 23rd kill, so that way we could get her to level 8 just like a battle sooner, but doing that saves actually a couple turns. To the point of basically just one site, basically preventing an enemy from attacking. And if you notice how slow that enemy was moving, that is one of the reasons why we want to try and cancel movement animations as much as possible. Gonna mash here, there and everywhere. And now the opposite side. I guess I haven't explained why I pick Sasami first for whenever we need to use haste. Essentially, the way that your turn speed, the way in which you actually decide your weight value after the first battle, it is fixed at the start of your turn. Meaning that if Tenchi were to go first, he would still have his default weight value versus having the hasted weight value. Because of this, it is faster to have Sasami go first and be able to buff Tenchi with haste to make sure he goes first during the second round. Because Tenchi's wait time will be set to not as fast as Sasami, but for some reason he still gets to go first. Anyway, we're going to move him up over here, and we're going to take a gamble here. This is the type of gambles we want to take. It is essentially a gamble where if we hit the spin attack, it does some damage. If we crit, it won't kill the enemy, but it will hurt them a decent amount. And now we're going to do something interesting. We're going to take advantage of the fact of how the enemies will group up, and also the fact of them basically getting rid of Sasami for us, so it's one less turn. Sadly, bye Sasami. You did your part. Now the enemies are going to move here. Also, I will admit, the way the isometric field is on this one is a bit confusing to remember like where some stuff is. If you turn your head slightly, it does help a little bit. But we now have all the enemies set up to be able to spin cut them. Didn't get the god kill. And by that I mean, because all the enemies actually have a range at this point, during the first one, all the normal enemies, you could actually crit and kill all of them. If the spin cut had crit the first enemy, that would put them in range too. It would take a high roll crit or Tenchi having a lot of strength, but you can save a lot of time off of that gamble. Although Task Strat would probably be going for a few different things. But we're going to spin here. This will kill the 3 cannons. And ooh, we did get it. Oh, yeah. If we had not gotten this, then we would have had to kill the last enemy with a spin. Well, an actual cross chop, his basic attack, because of it having very few very few health left. Very little health left. Yeah. Can't speak today. Anyway, we're going to start here. Because Washu actually has enough strength to be able to kill all these enemies, we can save a few turns by just taking out the first enemy here. We're going to have to take one more extra enemy, but that's calculated in the kill route. So Washu's just going to wait. Next enemy up, we're going to punch down, and then we're going to have to use a doll and a combination of a punch on the last enemy, as another one will spawn, but we get the time save there. And because the game has a default target, doesn't matter who we target, it's not going to give any, it's not going to matter except for possibly having one of the enemies move. Which I'd actually have to test to see if, or if not, the other one will move, and if it saves us like a second or two off of them not moving, but the finer details. It's not enough that it would save an entire turn. And now Washu has hit 30 kills. If we had buffed here, we would lose the buff there, but you would do that if you rolled very low on strength. Luckily, well, unluckily, the one enemy, pinkish enemy, I guess, rolled high enough as far as speed goes to be able to get an extra turn in. But we're going to take care of that there. At this point, we don't really need Washu with a very high amount of strength, but we want her... Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I'm saying that way because Washu rolling, I believe I quickly saw a 38. For level 8, the range of what you can get is between 5 and 9. So essentially, there are a total of like 26 minimum points you can get for strength. So, giving Tenchi, for example, his base strength is a 10. So that means a minimum of 36 with a high roll of up to 52. 42 total points on that one. And because we need a few certain threshold values, but not as much as you'd think. And the on average is 42 to 43, which is what we can work with. 41 is very tough and you'll lose time, but it is technically doable. And us going first here, we'll move all the enemies close. Will we get the god? Yes! Gonna move here, gonna move here. Spin will kill all 3 of these. This pattern does not happen all the time, but it does sometimes set up to where you'll only get maybe 2 of them, but you'll usually consistently get 2 of them, and then you can just use a sword throw to get rid of the others. It's not super consistent to get all 3, but it is, because it's based off of whatever the enemy's roll as far as speed goes. We're going to move Sasami up quickly, just to that way to save the quick second on the camera move. Yeah, 42. Yeah. At least I got the high rolls on the other characters I need, which is gonna be a pain, but it is better than it could be. Tenchi will throw a stick here. And count. Yep, I know now he's got 1, so I'll use the spin attack to hopefully guarantee the kill. Yeah, rolled high enough so that way we've got to deal with that one. That's also why we moved Sasami up closer, so that way it's a lot easier to avoid stuff. Also, Tenchi lost the buff on that one. And I felt like I could have buffed him again, but with the amount of actual strength I had, I could safely just get rid of them with just a spin. Fun fact, it only cost us about a minute and a half to not have Washu at level 8 to be able to just use her transformation ability to save all the attacks. Yet it saves more time to not have her at level 8 to get this ability. If that sort of makes sense. And we're going to move Washu up 1, 2. Oh, whoops, forgot. Since I did take the safety buff, I do not have her ability on that one there until now. The maths. Twitch math is hard. But we're going to use this to get rid of the first enemy, and now all the other enemies will surround Washu. Not be able to kill her, but until the end of the battle, we can just have Washu punch. Another enemy will spawn further up, start heading towards Washu, and when they get close enough to be in range of the doll, we're going to use the doll to get rid of them. Yes, that one there. Yeah, not mashing, not holding X fast enough on that one there, while trying to still mash, as we really do not want to see the enemies or our characters move as far as the animations go. Although Washu, Ryoku, and Mitsuki actually don't have walking animations, as they just basically teleport from one space to another, so they sort of don't have to worry about skipping animations if they move. Washu is going to move over here, over here, over here. This is to essentially have her be able to get to the newly spawned enemy 1 turn sooner, so they don't have to move. So we don't have to move. They'll move close to us. And because we did that, the enemy is now close enough that we can just punch them down, instead of being far enough away that we needed to use a doll. Now, I'm going to shut up for a minute. Well, for a few minutes. Because I need to concentrate on this battle. This is tech that I just confirmed less than maybe like 30-40 minutes before the run. So, it's still fresh as of today. Now, let's see if I get it. Okay, so because I was testing earlier on emulator and it gave me a different setup, but at the same point I was also, you know, deep into like the RNG table using, you know, 150 to 200 speed to also be able to do that. But the bottom enemy won't move, but as I said, I guess this mattered because of the rolls for the enemies as far as speed goes. Because if one of the high rolls and moves before the other, it can dramatically change where each of the enemies will move at the very end. We can control some stuff, but not everything. Also, say hi to Tenchi's morphed version, which does give him a buff on that one. I guess I can take a second to show you all what I mean as far as just like how each thing affects stuff. Also, that buff to defense. Just to show you what I mean as far as buffing goes, and that kind of stuff. You can see just like how I can see total stuff on that one there. We're going to use his Lighthawk wings. For those from the anime, yes, he has Lighthawk wings. It's his apparently some ultimate special multi-dimensional ability from the OVAs. I believe it's also in Space. Tenchi in Space. Don't know about Tokyo because I've really never seen all of that one. But apart from that, ooh, did not get the full thing on it, but it will be close enough. It'll be close enough on that one. I'll get the 2 energy to start, which is what you normally get. Yeah, that'll work on that one. Since I don't have to worry about that one passing turns, I just have to wait until there. Not target that one, target that one. Yeah, all of them basically got to survive by 1 to 2 HP. So a cut. So basically our normal attack helps with that one there. Move there. Yep, I'll just stay here and spin. Let me turn my head quickly to make sure I've got them in the correct order. No. 1 off. No, and I couldn't move to actually get all from there. Yep. Sorry, y'all. Having to calculate my damage range on that one there. Having to calculate my damage range there to make sure that I don't have to spawn, so that another enemy doesn't spawn. And because of 1 HP, still good. And we're now through the gauntlet. And now I'm going to make a save, so that way I do not have to worry about anything, although this battle, the next battle is a freebie, in a sense. It's one of those other battles that I really do want to practice to try doing blindfolded, just for a challenge. Again, no, I'm not doing any of this blindfolded. But the reason I bring it up is because I honestly think for the few battles that are a bit crazy, that are a bit more wild, if they could actually be made consistent, this game could probably be a RPG that has a chance of, at some point, maybe a couple years down the line, actually being able to be done completely blindfolded. Although I don't track blindfolded speedruns as much, I still think, honestly, that could be interesting to see because of the type of game it is. Anyway, we're going to move Tenchi here. All 4 of the enemies will converge on Tenchi, which is what we want to see. Because the dolls, this is also one of the reasons why I said Tenchi at a high strength could solo the left side by himself, because at 43 strength he can spin cut and kill all of the scorpions except for the blue one at the start, and then every other enemy just goes down to a spin cut except for the green one and the blue one during the last 2, but you have enough stuff to be able to do that. Anyway, so we're gonna spin to win, spin to win, spin to win. Low rolls, sadly, but better than nothing. So it'll take a second spin cut, but we'll kill all of them. Tenchi had just the tiniest bit more strength. I believe at 43 it does kill all but the blue one. But it is what it is there, so because of that, we'll just get rid of 3 of them at a time versus having the risk of that one. Tiny time loss, but it is what it is. So we'll do that there. God, I'll check Tenchi's energy in a second during the next enemy attack on him. This will get rid of 3 of the 4. Again, the backup is just eat the hit, 2, 4, yep. He'll have enough to sword throw to finish off. And if it's a low roll sword throw, well, you just do a normal attack to finish off. I believe that's been 3 turns on that one there. This will be turn 3, sword throw there. Strength range works. So we're going to mash through here. We finally made it to the moon. The moon is my specialty. These were some of the very first battles I ever found manipulation for. Now we want the dining room here, which is what the English translation is for it. We're going to take Tenchi and Washu. I might add, this is the original battle that because I was able to figure out stuff with this battle, it's one of the reasons why I seriously gave thought to the idea of trying any of these blindfolded. I'm not doing that. Again, disclaimer on that one there. Just because I don't want people to think that. So we're just going to wait here and here. I know. Confusing as all heck on that one, but still. Washu's turn. Now then, we're going to move here. Use her dolls. If she had, like the old route, when she would be at level 8, we could safely guarantee just punching down the first enemy. The other alternative is to actually buff her and use cheer on her, and then 1 to 2 turns later do that. The reason why we move her down there instead of just moving her essentially 1 other square over to do that, like we were doing with Tenchi, is because the game then defaults to the target of Tenchi, and although we could switch the 2 on that one there, it saves on the camera movement. 45. Ooh. Me likey. Washu, not high rolled, but on the above average, since her strength growth is the same as Tenchi. Starting at 10 is close enough. Had Washu gotten the kill on the one boss at the end of Earth, then she would have already been at level 8, and we could have guaranteed a possible punch on the enemy. Hi to everybody new in chat. Watching Tenchi Muyo Game Hame, a very, very, very good small strategy RPG from the mid-90s. Anyway, we're going to take a save here because this is our final save point. This is because the final, let's see, this, 3, 4. If you were to use the Forbidden Memories reference, we're at the final 6. Or is it 7? This one, Ryoko, that's 5, 6. Yeah, final 7 battles of the run. We can't skip any of them. There is no saves in between there, and a death would put us back where I just saved. So we're going to use Tenchi and Washu again. Since the health is only changed a little bit from the boss, their range has not changed at all. We're going to use both of them. 1, 2, safely on the move there. Just to be out of range on that one there. Remove. Oh, oops. Meant to hit up 2 on that one instead of 1. Tiny time loss, but it is what it is. Default buff Tenchi. It's cool. It's cool. On that one, it's a fun little run. I still need to finish working on my guide for beginners on that one there, but it really does have some cool tech to it. We're going to buff Washu here just to guarantee as a backup if we do not get high roll damage. Tenchi, yes, I do believe it is a girl on that one. So I should be using the she on that one there. As I said, hard to tell sprite-wise. But she is, as I said, she is one of Washu's rivals. Because, science-wise, I should state, we're just going to pass turn since we're out of range and they can't hurt us. We could use Washu's needle attack again, but since we still have the ability to be in range of that, also bad memory from, not memory, bad menuing for me. So we'll drop kick there. If we get lucky and we get a crit during the next attack, we will save time. If we don't, well then Washu will just move forward and use her dolls. We'll have Tenchi move forward a space to guarantee that Washu can make it in there. So we'll do that there, drop kick again. Got it. And the range too. Don't worry. I don't think they'll ban you for that one. Anyway, we're gonna mash here. We finally found Ryoko. Tenchi's like, Ryoko, where are you? Where are you? They're shocked that they haven't found her yet. You know, Tenchi wanders off, you know, calling out for her. So we finally found her. But what's this? She's attacking us. Apparently she is under hypnosis or mind control at present for the of our big bad. So we now have to fight Ryoko. However, we do not want to hit Ryoko at all. If we do and she dies, that's an immediate game over. Luckily, if that does happen, we have a save. We barely, you know, lose time. Well, we lose time, but this battle here, it's something special. For the longest time, people thought it would be a little hard to manipulate because of this deep into the run. And it's still not perfect with the latest route change because of having Ryo-ohki at level 2. Not 2, level 3 instead of 1. But also, we do have to fit some clones of her. Yes, it's Sasami, then there. It's Sasami behind. I'm trying to remember the order, because I've got like 2 or 3 different variations of manipulation for this battle. Nope, got the order. Did remember correctly. So we're going to have Tenchi wait. Washu is going to buff Tenchi. It'll default to Tenchi because it goes in order of choice. Sasami is going to move 1 step forward and is going to cast haste on Tenchi. This will mean, although since he has already acted, he will go after Sasami. This is one of the rare times where we want him to act after a character. We're going to move Ryo-ohki all the way up here. This is to block a space from the enemy. Now, there's a couple ways on that one. I'm going with the safer of the routes that I know for a fact will work and will have Ryo-ohki gone versus the optional other piece. Sasami is now going to move up here. The other actual route has the order changed slightly so that Sasami is behind Tenchi rather than Ryo-ohki, and you moved this one space earlier, one space before where she did. And you'll move here. The last enemy will move behind. The real Ryoko should move. Okay, I'm gonna have to wait here. Got lucky in turn order, which is not supposed to be there, because normally Ryoko is supposed to be on that one. But Tenchi, can't help it when the enemy's low roll speed. Small time loss, because we should be doing this now. But, yep, had to make sure of my range, tilting my head a bit. And now we'll spin. The higher Tenchi's strength here is the higher chance you have of one-turning. If you don't one-turn, then you basically just have to use an extra spin. I could move Washu and move an attack, but I am not risking having the other Ryoko move and having to try and get a proper turn order to be able to do what I'm about to do. And that is essentially spin to win the entire Ryoko squad. The entire Ryoko clones. Tenchi having also 69 defense. Nice. Gonna do that there, spin the win, and we're now on to the final gauntlet. Had I crit or Tenchi had higher strength, we would have been... Oh, serious game. Now you're gonna do that to me with low rolls. Okay. I'm gonna get a drink and finish this off. Because that annoyed me. Luckily, it won't cost that much time. And considering the fact that they still have... Considering that there's more than just the 4 Ryoko clones, I'm going to guarantee this kill. I'm not tracking the damage on that one, so I'm just going to guarantee the kill. Because there are extra Ryoko clones that spawn if it takes too long. Not bad for some mistakes. Not good, but not bad either. If y'all get what I mean. And now we're going to be warped to... Would you call it Dimension X? I mean, it looks like the portal from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. At least similar to it. Also, thanks for the subscription to the channel. I'm pretty sure RGLtv appreciates it. But this is one of those battles that I have not perfected perfectly. This is that there, that there, that there, that there. As I said, this is one of those battles that I've not perfected manipulation to, so it is now down to a how can we adjust and route on the fly. I'm gonna move here, Sasami. Actually, no, wait. Yes, move here. Ugh. Looks like I'm not gonna be moving on that one because I'm forgetting the actual placement of stuff. Just said this tech here is still a little... let's just say it's still in the experimental phase. Washu, I'm going to move here. Going to have her cheer Tenchi. She said, I'm still working out the metaphorical bugs in this part of the run because unless I want to save state practice every possible combination of every attack range, it's kind of hard. Gonna hopefully get them all to move close. Also, you notice the blue enemies here are the same as the final gauntlet enemy. Said still working on fine-tuning this part on that one. 1, 2, yeah. Please move close enemies so I can actually get the full thing on it. Yay. 1, 2. Yeah, close enough on that one if my count is correct on space. Tenchi's movement range is 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep, close enough to at least pick up 2 of them, which helps on that one there. We're gonna have Sasami wait. At this point, it's reasonable, that one there. We're going to be using Ryoko's Beam Squall to help damage all the enemies. And if Tenchi rolled high enough, then we might be able to kill some of the enemies here. During Tenchi's next action, we'll be spin cutting again. The reason why we have Washu go before Ryoko is so that the turn order benefits us, so that Ryoko is able to get buffed before her attack. And because of that, this increases her damage. Also, shouts out to Best Girl in the Run, Ryoko, for allowing us to do this. This should, considering Tenchi's spin attack, hopefully kill 2 of the enemies. Before, we would use Tenchi first and adjust some stuff, but as I said, this is more experimental tech for this battle. Gets rid of 1, gets rid of 2. That cuts down on having to deal with enemy attacks on that one there. Tenchi being like this. Whoops, forgot to hold it on that one there. We're just going to toss a stick at them to be able to win that one. And it'll move, attack. I believe it should be Washu's turn next. So we're just going to have her punch, and then Ryoko is going to punch as well. Well, use whatever attack is left based on enemy stuff. 71, let's see if I can do the mental math quick. Oh, okay, that answers the question. Just her normal attack. Yeah, game not giving me the 1 more point to make it faster. Next we have to deal with some Ryo-ohki clones. Yeah, that's what I said. One of the nice things about this game is it is a classic for anybody from the 90s that remembers the show. The problem is that the latest English translation has a bug that makes enemies spawn faster. That's why we can't use it. However, the one from the 90s is actually safe to, is actually allowed in the speedrun. Now, we have to deal with some Ryo-ohki clones. This is where... this is stuff that is just... that I found recently on that one there. So we're going to buff Tenchi. Menuing. Should have just hit left instead of there. But it is what it is. Since we can't move any of them, we're gonna move Washu over 1 space. This is to adjust the camera. We're gonna buff Tenchi. Now, what's nice here is because Tenchi will get an actual extra turn faster than Sasami. Thank you, game, on that one there. We're gonna use Ryo-ohki to move, I guess, here, hopefully drawing the enemies around. And Tenchi is going to move here. Immediately spin. If we crit, we might actually be able to take out both of them. Sadly, no. High roll strength or a crit, it's one of those that if you... it's not so much a gamble, but if you get it, it does save time. It should be a debuff, but it is a very good buff on that one. Ooh, the other enemy moves past towards Sasami, and there. Sorry, thinking out loud on that one. Okay, won't be able to move there, but close enough to be able to do something cool. Tenchi will be able to go. Ooh. Let's see, can I count the ranges? Attack there. Yeah, I'll have to stick where Tenchi is standing right now. Unless... No, I'm going to actually have to move now. Because of where the last one moved... Sorry, I'll have to clear my throat a little. Because of where the last one moved, I can, instead of staying where I am to be able to hit 2 of the enemies, I will be able to move over and be able to hit 3 of them. Although, sadly, did not get the, sadly the enemies did roll high on the speed. But I'll be able to hit both of them, kill at least one of them, damage the other. And had it been the other one there, it would have been a lot faster, but... I should buff. Now I'll just do that one there. I'll gamble on the crit, and gamble and win. And Ryoku's Beam Squall, are they all in... Yep, they're all in range. It's hard to remember on that one, because I believe it's like 5 rows, counting the row you're in. So 2 above you, 2 below you on that one there, and you get to take the Ryo-ohki clones out on that one. I believe that this is one of those battles where they can still have more spawn. The next one, there is no extra reinforcements, as is the following one and the one after that. The Tenchi being like, oh, come on, can we get this over with? I just want to go home and relax. So against Sasami, Washu, Ryoko, and Tenchi. This is to push Tenchi back far enough that he can walk to one of the enemies, as well as allowing him to be able to get the full buffs before his turn. Actually, no, wait, it's turn 3, not 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just do it there. This is more the, like, having to remember it's Tenchi at 3 instead of Ryoko on that one. At least to get the furthest ones, but it doesn't matter as much. It's just different order to go for the different enemies. So we're going to have Tenchi get buffed on that one with Cheer and Haste. Ryoku's going to just wait here. Tenchi is going to move back here. Okay, so I did miscount the range. Miscounted the range. Should have been Tenchi 3, Ryoko 4. Yeah. It's still fresh tech from, like, last week that I counted the proper order for this one, but since Tenchi will get an extra spin in, we'll be able to get in some extra damage and hopefully kill one of them. Ryoko with 43 means for the next battle I will be using her instead of Tenchi. But you'll get what I mean soon enough. Okay, that's good enough. Well, game be kind on that one instead of other stuff. Yep, best girl for the speedrun. Well, Washu as well, but Ryoko seriously carries for a lot of things for us. Okay, move over. Yep, Washu's going to buff Ryoko, and Ryoku's going to Beam Squall again. Because we want to be able to Beam Squall. And also, since Sasami is gone, it makes it a lot easier for movement purposes. Let me check my range here. Should be in range still if I do that. Yep, had to quickly turn my head to count spaces and make sure that I would still be in range for Beam Squall, because the one gold enemy has been hit at least once with Tenchi's spin. Should be close to dying. The grayish one should die, and the gold one should have a little bit of health left. So Tenchi can safely do this. can guarantee the kill. The other enemy having a little bit of health left, we're going to just punch with Washu, and then Ryoko will have enough for her beam attack. Unless, of course, we get a crit from Washu here. Most likely not. Yeah, go with the beam attack. Saves the, I'll take the little bit of time loss via the animation to hopefully guarantee the kill. Yep, guaranteed. And ooh, crit too. That technically was a time loss because of the box, but is what it is. Yeah, win some, lose some, dumb mistakes here and there. So it is what it is. I know that I have lost some time due to Tenchi having a lower strength value than I'd like, but it is what it is. So now we're going to use Ryoku, then Washu. This order is so Ryoku will go first, and Washu will be able to buff her. We're going to move Ryoku one space forward, and wait. The enemy range is, I believe, 5, not 4 this time. But we're going to buff Ryoku. Now, here's where the real magic happens. Because Ryoku has an actual, it still is 4. Since Ryoku's going first and actually has more strength, we're going to transform her and use our strongest single target attack. Well, we have access to a stronger one if we wanted to grind Tenchi's grandfather, but, well, grind up his attack, I should state. Yeah, please don't take that out of context. Please don't take that out of context. Level up, I should state. Anyway, we're going to move Ryoku up here and use her giant hand ability. Ryoku grows very big and grabs the enemy. Now let's see what we got for damage value. Yeah, not full damage. Washu's going to move up here, buff herself up, so that way she can act as a backup. We will take a hit here for both of them, though I technically haven't tested whether or not it would be faster to use Sasami on this one to help speed up things, although eat the camera movement time loss or not. Ryoko will use her... Yep. We'll use this, then there Washu will use her other attack. Washu's going to use her doll attack. That's why we buffed her up. Move here. Dolls. Crit, please. Please. One time, game. One time. Yes. I say that because I was not sure on the damage range. Anyway, we're now on the final battle. It's mano a mano against her, and we're gonna actually be using Ryoko here. This is one of the reasons why she's best girl for the run. We could use Tenchi here to go straight for the final boss, but the problem is... Also, we have to deal with clones of Misaki, but the problem is that they can block Tenchi. Ryoko being able to go through enemies means that she can go... Basically, she can avoid getting walled in. That there, that there, that there, that there. Excuse me. Tenchi is going to be our final character. So that way, hopefully, if anything does happen, she, well, we have a backup damage dealer. Also makes it easier so Ryoko doesn't have to pass through a character like Sasami. And timing will be at the end of this battle. So, anybody of the staff, you might want to start telling our next runner to get ready on that one. We'll buff them. There. Ryoku's going to move up down here. We're going to wait. We want to keep Ryoku just out of range of the enemies on that one, because she gets a lot of good movement. We want to have them stay just out of range on there. I believe this is where the enemy has a range of 5. Ryoku transformed has a range of 4, so we're going to buff her and basically have her go in close and hopefully get multiple turns. This is also why we are basically making sure everything works out. Washu, as long as we keep her alive, we will not die. Her second ability, if I haven't met, I don't believe I've talked about, is the ability to heal. That's good. Next run being a staff member, so that should be very good. There, we're going to use that there. Have them move close. Attack Tenchi, please. That means Ryoko having to wait for her transformation because you can't move and transform at the same turn. That means we're gonna be able to use Washu to heal. Which is very useful. Move behind, attack Tenchi. Tenchi is here just to hopefully absorb damage and to hopefully take out an enemy or two if needed. So I'm gonna actually try to hopefully get rid of one with his attacks rather than having him transform. Wait. Transform. Since we can't move the same turn that we transform, sadly. Washu, having 2 energy, can heal. So we're going to have to move her. Can I put Ryoku in range? No, I can't. So I'll just have to have her wait here on that one to have Ryoko move, and then hopefully Washu gets the heal. Good. Moving to attack Washu, that's good. Want to make sure that Washu stays alive long enough that she can heal Ryoku, and Ryoku can go in the attack. Yes, that would actually be nice if medicine would also deal damage. Okay, move up there. Trying to make sure I'm in range 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I'll do that there. Have Tenchi wait. Washu will heal. Heal Ryoku. I could actually risk having Ryoku be further in, but I'd rather use the fact that she's got an extra turn in and make sure to guarantee the range. Do that there, attack there, giant hand there for the turn order. Would love to giant hand the first thing, but just out of range, so luckily she will have just enough energy to be able to giant hand as well. Hopefully they will continue to attack someone like Tenchi. Ryoku should have just enough health to be able to tank another hit or two, and we can always move Washu further in to be able to do stuff. This battle is sort of a lot harder than it seems, and it is. Don't kill Washu, please. Okay, she survived an attack, luckily. Tenchi, I'm going to have you try to convince them to just stick close to all of them and hurt Ryoku. Move here. Giant hand. Can I get a crit, please? One time. One time. One time, please. No crit, sadly. Washu is going to move close now. Is she... oops, wrong button. Is she in range? No. Nope. But since Washu is in range, it's using to attack Washu on that one. Okay. You. Luckily, they will all head towards Ryoko versus other stuff. Tenchi now will immediately move down here, and he'll start to wait. Okay, can't move that one there. Make sure it's targeted the correct enemy. Okay, come on, come on, come on, please. High roll. Ah, you serious game! Oh, there goes technical world record on stream. Come on, attack Tenchi. Ryoko, please survive. I mean, I've got an estimate for it, but damn it all. Like, is it what happens when the game decides to say no? Please, 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 please. Thank you. Thank you. And time! Now, I technically do have a faster offline time of slightly, you know, faster 157, but getting a 147, but getting a 147 on stream has been something I've wanted to showcase for a while. And yes, that was close. There are a lot more time saves in the run that I could have gotten via different damage rolls and a few other, you know, changes on that. But the fact that the run is in the state that it is in with what is possible so far should just say something about just the act of just like what RNG manipulation can do for a game, as well as just how having to adjust from something that's a lot harder can sometimes push runs even further. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And considering our other runner offline has a 148, but that's also using turbo, taking minimum battles, just goes to show you the power of just working out everything to be able to sort of like manipulate the attacks to where we can, and there's still a lot more stuff that can be adjusted in the run. And thank you, thank you. As I said, I am working on a very good beginner's guide for this one, for those that want to try it out. The game has a lot of gambles where you can risk a time save for a by doing a weaker attack or getting that magical crit, and there's a lot of little things here and there that, you know, could be changed or could be teched out to see if, okay, if I get this high amount of damage, I could then use this instead, or if I roll this high of strength, or if I roll this low, like the container battle. There is an alternative where you take a gamble on Tenchi doing a spin attack instead of just doing a normal attack, and at a low strength, that's your strategy, because you need the extra power to be able to damage it, versus a chop which has less chance of, you know, killing them. But with low strength, you use the spin. Very high strength, you have to use the chop. And when you fall into the average range, it's a, okay, do I want to take the coin flip of if Tenchi crits, you might kill an enemy. If he double crits, you might kill both of the enemies, and now you have to adjust or maybe take an extra map. You know, but getting Washu the actual extra kills, or do I want to do this or this? Like, the fact that the run has to deal with a kill count versus proper EXP means you can be flexible about where you're getting it. As long as you get the kills, you're good. You can even try, you know, the old route where you're taking less, you know, battles and adjust, like, where you're killing and that kind of stuff, and possibly even get a faster time there. If you get the rolls with the end of getting Ryoko, having Ryoko be the one that kills the last enemies, getting her to level 8 at the very end versus taking them early. And as I said, this speedrun, it's something I've been working on for a while. I really do think it could be a great beginner's tutorial to how a strategy RPG speedrun can be. it may not seem complex on the surface, but it has a lot of hidden things that just make it a lot harder. Oh, did I even mention the reason the enemies actually get so many attacks is because they all technically have the haste flag on them, even if there's no way for them to have the haste flag normally? Yeah, turn order is very relevant. Anyway, I don't know if they want me to stop or if they want to allow me to actually, showcase the credits on that one there. I still have to work out something for the unlocked game, which is essentially the version where you get a start of... Oh, thank you all for the actual gift subs. As I said, like, the fact I haven't, no one's touched the unlocked game where you start with everybody in a actual... You start it with every character, and then, as I was saying, there's an unlocked game which is essentially everybody gets a new, everybody gets an actual... There's an unlocked game ability where you start out with every character, and no one's really touched that as a route yet, because you get them all at level 1, so, there's opportunities there. There's also 100% where you have to have every character level 8, and do a few other things, but it automatically changed a lot of stuff. So it's like there is a lot more for stuff to work in this game, and as I said, because you have a kill route instead of pure EXP, it really does make for a good RPG speedrun. Especially since you can work around tweaking stuff, and because it's so simple, there is manipulation you can find to accomplish anything major. And thank you again for letting me show this one off. It's something that I've been working on in the background, as I said, and I think more people should know about this game. We allow the old English patch on that one, and the latest one having a bug means you really can't use it, but both of them, like, the whole game as a whole is just so good. Such a great game, such a fun game. And the fact that it is just a hidden gem and something that a lot of us probably remember is why more people need to check it out. It's the type of game where more people should check this one out. Oh, I've actually thought about him on that one. The robot from Mahoshi's ship. I've got manipulation for Mahoshi's ship. Other runner found stuff for the carrot fields. In fact, I did a modified version of their sixth grind battle with sixth gauntlet battle with what I found testing for the latest tech for that one there. So there is a lot of stuff that just makes this run so fun to do. Annoying because you feel the time losses when you have them, but fun because of just the fact of being able to try new things, to try different ideas, and allow you, and as I said, there's so many different categories that just haven't been tried yet. This is just any percent. Someone wants to do a challenge one with any percent no Tenchi? You'd have to completely change who you want to use because you don't have the spin attack then. Whenever anyone, if you want to follow me on Twitch, that's twitch.tv/Mageius1. As soon as I get my guide finished, and I'm working on it, it's mainly just explaining what mechanics you need to know for this. I've got like a lot of the different alternatives that are going to be available, and just more people need to check out this game. It is a hidden gem. It is a hidden gem, especially for an old school strategy RPG that is so easy to learn. You don't have to worry about, a lot of the high mechanics. You can follow along with just the guide and just like try different things out, try experimenting. That's what this game is good for. Anyway, I'll be back on Tuesday all with some Robotech and Mac with some Robotech. So until then, I will pass y'all over to our next runner. Thanks again for having me, and good luck everyone that's following.